Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and Merry Christmas to all of you. And today I'm going to be reading for you a story called Do Not Tell Anyone But. So let's Squirrel was excited. She hopped and skipped and twitched her bushy tail with excitement. She had a secret and she had to share it with someone. The very first someone she saw was Rabbit. Rabbit was busy looking for the greenest, tastiest patches of grass. So she took a quick look at Squirrel and carried on with her search. Squirrel lowered her voice and whispered, "Don't tell anyone but I'm having a big party with yummy food and funny hats." "Oh, really?" mumbled Rabbit, who was far more interested in her delicious grass. She wasn't listening properly to Squirrel at all. So when Rabbit spotted her friend Mole, who was busy digging, she had some rather strange news. "I hushed in tones," Rabbit whispered in the mole's velvety ear. Don't tell anyone but Squirrel's having a party and she's inviting lots of stray cats." I see," muttered Mole as he inspected his newly dug hole. He wasn't paying much attention to Rabbit. Later, Mole spotted his friend Fox basking in the autumn sun and decided to tell him the news. He scampered over and said, "Don't tell anyone but Squirrel's having a picnic and she's making pies for all the rats." Zzz. Whatever, whatever, snored the fox lazily. He was far more interested in catching the last rays of sunshine and had only heard half of Mole's news. As the day turned into dusk, Fox saw his friend Owl perching in an oak tree waiting for the moon to appear. "I might as well tell him the news," thought the fox, who was more awake by now. So he walked over to Owl and quietly called up to him. "Don't tell anyone but Squirrel's having a picnic and she's going to wear fancy pants." Well, there's a thing, hooted the Owl, paying more attention to the moon than what the fox was saying. Later, as dawn was breaking, Owl spotted his friend Deer. He was busy picking his way gracefully through the undergrowth looking for tasty autumn berries. "Come here, Deer," called Owl softly. As Deer half turned to him and lowered his voice, he lowered his voice and said, "Don't tell anyone but Squirrel has a pink stick to tap when she learns to dance." Deer stopped for a second and looked up in surprise. Then he turned to a particularly juicy crop of blackberries. He quite caught enough everything that the owl had said. That afternoon, Deer bumped into his friend Mouse, who was scurrying around in the leaves. He was very busy eating the berries that Deer had dropped. "Owl told me the strangest thing," Deer murmured. "Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel's wearing lipstick and she's going to tea with all her aunts." Mouse was hungry indeed, and certainly wasn't in the mood for paying too much attention to the woodland chit-chat. But when the mouse heard his friend Woodpecker rat-a-tat-tat-tatting an old oak tree, he thought he had better pass on the news. If you can give me a spare minute," he shouted to make himself heard above the woodpecker's noise. The woodpecker looked down And the mouse continued at the top of his little voice. Don't tell anyone, but Squirrel's buying a boat ticket to sail to sunny France. But the woodpecker hadn't entirely stopped rat-tat-tatting, so the message he thought he heard was quite different. What really squirrels won a prize? A lucky chance, exclaimed the woodpecker loudly. The squirrel had been busy minding her own business, but when she heard the woodpecker's news, she jumped up. Stop listening! You've got it all wrong! She called in frustration. All the creatures stopped what they were doing and looked up. It's not true, cried the squirrel. What? You didn't have a lucky chance? Asked the woodpecker. I'm afraid not, replied the squirrel. But are you sailing to sunny France, aren't you? Inquired Mouse. No, not ever, Squirrel declared. What about wearing lipstick and having tea with your aunts? Tried Deer. Absolutely not, cried Squirrel. So no dancing with a pink stick then? Hesitated Owl. Goodness, no, sighed the squirrel impatiently. Do you even have any fancy pants? Asked the fox nervously. No, Squirrel slattered. And baking pies for rats isn't your thing, muttered Mole. Not in a million years, wailed the squirrel. Are you not having a party with the stray cat? Rabbit whispered. No, Squirrel groaned. But what is happening that I'm going to have a big party with yummy food and funny hats, and you're all invited? The very next day, everyone gathered at the woodland clearing for the squirrel's big party. They all wore funny hats and had the best time ever. The end. So the moral of this story is that when someone tells you something, you have to focus and listen carefully. If you don't, you end up saying something really random that's not true, like this story. Like the squirrel was having a party, but everyone thought she was having something else, like she was sailing to sunny France and all those stuff. And I hope you enjoyed this story. And if you want to see the rest of my videos, if you want to see more of my videos, please like and subscribe. Bye.